Hi, my name is Ryan Gonzalez, and I'll be presenting today about communication and sales. So when people think about communication, they usually just think about the words used to go and get a message across, when in actuality, communication is not just about the verbal aspect, but about body language, about listening, visual aids, and the unselfish goal to go and help someone achieve their goals. And so the actual sales definition for communication is the act of transmitting verbal and nonverbal information and understanding between the buyer and the seller. There are 8 major components in communication, and they are the source, the encoding process, the message, medium, the decoding process, the receiver, feedback, and noise. So the source is the person who's conveying the information, so usually the seller. The encoding process is in what way the source transfers the ideas and concepts they want to get across, and transfers that into actual words or body language, and transfers that into a message. The message is the information that's being conveyed. The medium is in what way the message is being conveyed, so through words, body language, visual aids. The receiver is usually the seller, the person who's listening. This is the person who's listening to the sales presentation. The decoding process is in what way they interpret the message, how they break down what they've just received. The feedback is the receiver's response to the message. Did they like it? Did they not like it? Do they have any issues to it? And noise is anything that can distort the message. So it could be anything from a mishap that the source does in their presentation. So if the source says a price that is too high in the middle of their presentation, and that's overwhelming now the receiver, and that's all they can think about, that is now noise that has distorted the person's message. That's ruined a lot of the rest of their presentation. That or a lisp, having a very brightly colored shirt, that's all the person can think about. Anything can go ahead and distort the message. That's noise. And so with this, it will help people realize is that communication is a two-way street. There's another person involved in this, and they have their own personality when it comes to buying and selling. There are usually 4 types of personalities, and they are the thinker, the intuitor, the feeler, and the sensor. They have several differences that a salesperson needs to know. Their main differences can be that the thinker is detail-oriented or direct. The intuitor is knowledgeable or future-oriented. The feeler is more people-oriented, and the sensor is more action-oriented. A salesperson or a good salesperson should know their own personality style. That way they can better adapt to the person that they're doing the presentation to. This is important because adapting to the receiver helps increase your compatibility with them and your relationship with them. And in doing so, it increases the likelihood of you making the sale. And so now I'll move on to the more nonverbal physical aspects of communication. And to begin with, nonverbal aspects is the way you present yourself. So do you walk in maintaining eye contact? Are you well groomed? Are you well dressed? Are you professionally dressed? Do you have a good handshake when you're meeting someone? These are all things that convey how trustworthy you are. Is your information that you're giving them, do they feel confident listening to it? Do they feel like what you're saying is trustworthy? And that's a big part of sales. You also want to watch for a concept of personal space or social space. You do not want to encroach in someone's personal space when speaking to them. Usually a salesperson will stay in their social space, which is about 4 to 6 feet. This can change no matter where you are. Internationally, I know more Latin American countries, like where my family's from, our social space is a regular person's personal space, so 2 to 4 feet. But in other places it can differ. This is important because you don't want to make any person that you're doing a presentation to feel uncomfortable, which this will hinder their your ability to make the sale. There's also acceptance signals. So when you're giving a presentation, seeing how the person's reacting, are they do they look like they're enthralled? Are they on the edge of their seat? Are they maintaining eye contact the entire time? Are they very open when listening to you? These are acceptance signals. Is the person, does he have his him or her have their arms crossed? Are they looking away from you? Does it seem like they're not listening? These are disagreement signals. You want to know the difference, that way you can adapt your presentation to these signals and work with them, while also introducing trial closes to go and find out how they're feeling about everything and get their feedback. And the final thing I'd like to talk about is listening. So there are three types of listening, and they are marginal, evaluative, and active. Marginal listening is any first-year student in a auditorium gen ed classroom. So go into any calculus class, calculus 1, physics 1, the student in the back row, that kid's marginally listening. Evaluative listening is a student listening to a guest presentation. In the second half of it, they don't really care, but they're trying their best to not make the person feel bad, and they're trying to show that they care. Then an active listener is a fifth-year student who's failed the course 3 times, and they are hanging on every last word the professor's saying because they can't fail one more time. That is a person completely enthralled who's listening to every single thing they're saying. And this is what you want to be when you're a salesperson. Listening, in many cases, is more important than actually speaking when it comes to a sales call, because listening helps you understand the buyer's needs and concerns. I read a lot about Dale Carnegie while also studying this course as more research. He had an anecdote about speaking to a botanist at a dinner party, and he said that the botanist spoke to him for hours about botany, and at the end of the dinner party, the man went up to the host of the party and said, "Wow, Dale Carnegie is an amazing conversationalist. I really enjoyed talking to him." Dale Carnegie maybe got 5 words in and just threw in little remarks to show that he was still listening. But what happened was that Dale Carnegie listened for many hours. He made this man feel happy because most people, they just want to hear the sound of their own voice. And they just want to go ahead and speak and speak and speak. And so this man is now happy. Dale Carnegie just got a master class in botany, and he was able to go ahead and pass some time. And so this can also show you that when you're speaking to someone, listening to them will make them feel better. It will increase your relationship with them. And not only that, but you will learn more about them, which you can use in your sales presentation to help you help them achieve their goals. So this has been a little bit about communication and sales. I hope I haven't run too long, and thank you.